Holy crap. I mean, literally, if you took all of Jay's videos that he talked crap about Brad and Valerie and you made it into a compilation, I mean, he would probably have 30 to 40 hours of clips of him talking crap about Brad and Valerie. It's been months that he has gone on and obsessed over Brad. And the reason why Jay is doing this because he has a secret love affair with Brad. Okay? Jay is like the psycho ex-girlfriend that you cannot get rid of. I mean, who gets on a camera for months at a time talking about somebody that's ignoring you? Like, dude, is he on your mind 24/7? It's absolutely mind-blowing. Like, okay, maybe a couple days, but man, it was months and months at a time. And then, a few weeks it was Adam McLeod, or maybe a month. But the funny thing that I thought about this whole thing was a couple lives ago, it might have been 2 or 3 lives ago, people kept bringing up McLeod and Brad, and he was like, guys, I don't want to talk about Brad or McLeod anymore. If you're looking for that, just leave the stream. And it's like, dude, you have been talking about them for months at a time, and all of a sudden you want to play good guy and say, let's get past it. Well, guess what, Mr. Masterson? The guy that pretends that he has not seen any of my videos. Guys, he has seen every single one of my videos. He has trolls that send him clips of everything online that has to do with Jay Masters. The reason why he doesn't want you to see my videos is because I speak truth and he knows nothing about me, and he can't make up all of his BS about me like he does with Brad. After watching Brad's response, it is apparent that over 90% of the things that Jay has said about Brad and Valerie is just made up BS, because he doesn't really know Brad. And so he can't stop himself from being vicious, so he has to spread BS. He has to spread nonsense. And again, believe me, guys, he is watching my videos and he does not want to send his people over here to watch my videos, because the only thing he could ever do is just make up stuff about me like he does with everybody. This guy is a jealous, vindictive, manipulative, hateful man. And now he's trying to play nice guy and cut all this stuff off like it never happened and become the nice guy all of a sudden. Jay, nobody is going to your channel to see you be Mr. Nice Guy. You have built a toxic following. They are there to see the drama. They are there to watch you get drunk and make a fool of yourself. They don't want to hear you sober, because nobody cares about your freaking advice. You are absolute scum. You know when you're walking around and you step on gum or shit, and you get home and you look at the bottom of your foot and you're like, God, and you're just scraping it off the bottom of your foot? That's Jay Masters. That is what he is. Absolute scum. This man literally thought, and this is actually what I wanted to point out, because there was a part of Brad's clip where some guy was trying to say, well, should I take Jay's PED advice, and should I take this and that advice? And Brad was saying he's not dumb. Jay is a moron. Okay? Anybody that thinks compiling photos of somebody's handicapped daughter is a good idea, it's a good way to one up your enemy, how stupid can you be? You're making an absolute fool of yourself by thinking that you have some critical information against somebody that has a handicapped daughter. Who gives a damn about if somebody has a handicapped daughter? He wants to sit there and act like Brad's stupid for supporting his handicapped daughter. Yes, Brad is a man, and he is stepping up to the plate, and he is taking care of his kids. Jay Masters is the type of guy where if he made a mistake and he accidentally had a kid, he would be the piece of scum that he is, and he would do anything that he could to get out of the child support. He would probably disappear to some city and claim he doesn't make any money, and he would weasel his way out of that because Jay has gotten everything handed to him by mommy. He's a complete baby, and as much money and babying as mommy did to Jay, the only thing that it did was make him a crappier person. Because Jay is entitled, he is a spoiled little baby, and he thinks a man that's supporting his handicapped daughter is some type of negative. Like, what is Brad supposed to do? Oh, she has issues, so like, I'm not gonna pay child support on her because, you know, she's not normal. It's like, no, dude, if you're a good father, if you're a good human, if anything, you're gonna say, on top of the child support I pay, I will be there at any time if you need my help. I will be there to help her life be easier. And Jay wants to act like, oh, it's the manly thing to do to not support a daughter that's handicapped. You piece of crap. That's what you are, a piece of trash. And Brad was 100% right when he called you soft and a guy that doesn't want to fight. You don't want to fight anybody because you know deep down inside that you're a freaking pansy. You know that deep down inside. Just like Brad calls you, a soft freaking jellyfish. That's what you are. And what I said in my first video was that Jay projects all of his insecurities onto other people. All this talk about cuck this, cuck that. Anybody that has a girlfriend, a wife, a family is a cuck to Jay. Okay? And we found out in Brad's clip that Jay Masters is the real cuck. Anybody that eats out a hooker in general is a freaking cuck. That is somebody that has been having sex with men all day, every day, and you're going to put your tongue in her nasty vagina and her nasty butthole. You are the real cuck. And then all this talk about homosexuality and gays all the time, you are the real homo. Everything that you obsess about is you, the cucks, the homos, the constant talking about black men, people sleeping with black men. I think Brad hit the nail on the head with that one. Why are you so obsessed with women that have slept with black men? It's because when you look down without your clothes, you can't even see your little chode. That's what it is. You can't see your little pee-pee. So you get on Pornhub and you see these black guys that are absolutely destroying these women, and you can't handle it. It makes you pissed because you're used to having everything handed to you in life. So you can't handle the things that you can't control, like having a little pee-pee that you can't see. And it infuriates you, and now you got to constantly talk about black guy this, black guy that. Same with the homosexual, same with the cuck. It is projection. Anything that Jay projects, it has been proven that that is his reality. He's projecting it because that is him, and he can't stand it. He actually had the balls to call Andrew Colora all those awful names after he was Andrew Colora's cleanup boy, eating out a hooker that Andrew Colora got with. How freaking disgusting is that? How could you live with yourself after that? He couldn't. It ate him up inside when he sobered up. He said, I looked like a freaking weirdo. He said, I look like a freaking cuck. He sobered up the next day and it ran through his head. Man, I made an embarrassment of myself. I not only ate out a hooker, but a hooker that my buddy hooked up with at the time. It ate him up inside, and so he had to project and defame Andrew Colora. Because Andrew Colora is the man, and you are the cuck. Jay. The only reason why Jay Masters does not have a kid is not because he's safe. It's because anybody that hooks up with him is rushing to the pharmacy the next morning to get Plan B because they don't want him raising their children. He is a complete mess. The man doesn't even shower or brush his teeth. Who is going to want to procreate with somebody like that? Nobody. That's why he hasn't had a kid yet. That's why he hasn't had an accident. Because no woman wants that freaking moron in their life for the rest of their life. Or at least until the kid's 18. Nobody wants to deal with that crap. What Brad did was what I suspected Brad was doing. Brad was the one playing chess while Jay was running his stupid mouth drunk on his camera every night. Brad was putting in work. He was stockpiling ammunition and he was ready. And what he did was a freaking warning shot. He said, hey, you keep running your mouth. I'm talking to your mom. I'm talking to your girlfriend. There is nobody in your freaking life that wants anything to do with you because you're the scum of the earth. How do you think that little girl's going to feel? Brad's little girl that is handicapped, if she were to stumble across these videos, or her mother. How do you think they're going to feel, you freaking scumbag? She already has to go through enough pain and enough hardship every day living disabled. And you're going to sit on there and act like she is some piece of filth and Brad's a loser for taking care of her? What kind of person thinks like that? How does that even process in your head? Somebody asked Brad in the video, should I take Jay's PED advice? So people are trying to find a reason to kind of still listen to him. Let's go through all of the things that you could possibly follow Jay for. And I will give you all of the reasons why you should not follow any of his advice. And if you're going to watch him for being the train wreck that he is. Do not take any of his advice because he has nothing intelligent coming out of his mouth. Let's go through all these. Jay's financial advice. Anybody that got $250,000 and on top of that he's suing his employers for freaking falling down and he has nothing to show for it, this man does not have any business giving anybody financial advice. Okay, his response to what I said was, I didn't blow through $250,000. I bought a Jeep and I didn't have to work for 5 years while I was in college on a scholarship. It's because Jay is a spoiled little brat. He didn't want to get a little part-time job for the extra money that he needed on top of his scholarship. So his dumbass went out and bought a car, and then he blew all of his money on a scholarship. If Jay was smart and he knew anything about finances, he would have took the $250,000 at 18 years old and put it into mutual funds immediately. The most modest return is 7% annually on a long-term basis. But if you get with a good financial advisor, they're going to get you 12 to 14%, when you look at it on a long-term basis. Let's just say you're getting 10% back a year. $250K, 10%, first year you get $25,000 just for having it in the mutual fund. Now you're up to $275,000. Year two, you're making 10% on $275,000. Boom, you just made $27,500 on top of that. Add that in. Now you're at $300,000. Year three, you make 10%. Now you're getting $30,000. So what that's called is compounding returns, okay? Your money, as it grows bigger and bigger, the pot of money, that percentage is being applied to that bigger pot of money. So as it keeps growing from 330 to 400 to 500, now you're applying 10% on 500,000. Now you're applying 10% on 600,000. And right now, if Jay had put his money into mutual funds, got his little lazy, spoiled ass up, and got a part-time job on a scholarship and paid for the extra expenses that they don't cover, and didn't blow his money on a stupid Jeep, Jay could have got a home out of college without a down payment, because if you have that much money put aside, the banks see you as low risk. They would approve you for a home without a down payment. Back then, you know, what was that, 40 years ago? He could have got a decent home probably for 150 grand with nothing down. Worked a job to make the payments, keep all the money in those mutual funds, and by the time he was 40 years old, he would have been a multimillionaire. He would be a multimillionaire right now, retired and actually happy with himself, and not getting on the freaking camera pissed off at the world and trying to make up stuff, defame people, and get people stalked, because he would be happy with his freaking life. So his financial advice sucks. You're not going to go sue him for that. His life advice is absolutely garbage, because in his mind, he thinks it's a good idea to bully handicapped girls, like innocent handicapped girls. So he knows nothing about life. He doesn't have any wisdom. He knows nothing about finances. Now let's get into the PEDs. So for the guy that asked, should I take his PED advice? Hell no, you shouldn't. I've heard his PED advice. It's garbage. It is absolute garbage. Somebody, it was on a podcast or his live stream, somebody said, you know, should my first cycle be 300 milligrams of test a week? And Jay was like, heck no, that's way too low. You just need to blast the living crap out of yourself with gear on your first cycle. And it's like, dude, that is the dumbest advice. You're taking somebody that's never put any drugs into their body, and you're telling them to start off on some crazy dosages. It's like, if you gave a guy 300 milligrams of test, threw some orals on top of it, he would grow like a weed. And guess what? When your first cycle, you're blasting the living crap out of yourself with all these anabolics on super high dosages. It's like, you don't need that to grow on your first cycle, because you started off on your first cycle with 2 grams of gear a week. And now, you know, 10 years later, you're trying to grow on 20 grams of gear. You're going to end up like freaking Boston Lloyd trying to grow on 20 grams of gear a week. And you're going to end up like Jay at 40 or 50 years old, living on a freaking blast cycle year round, barely taking any time off, and looking like dog shit. All right? Because Jay Masters looks like dog shit. I mean, just look at the guy, and you should understand that his PED advice sucks. He is a walking heart attack. Do you guys understand that this guy could literally die at any day now? So I'm going through all these different things that you could listen to Jay about, and there's nothing. What's left? Finances, life advice, PED, strength advice. If you are morbidly obese, 330, 350 pounds at 6 feet tall, and you live on a blast cycle, you're gonna be freaking strong. You're gonna bench 500. If you talk to any freaking bodybuilder that's been training for, 20, 30 years, and you ask them, what was your bench at the peak of your lifting? Every single one of them is gonna say 500 pounds plus, and these weren't even power lifters. 350 pounds living on blast cycles since he was a teenager. And his best lift is a 500-pound bench press. I've already emphasized this. That is not elite strength. He is not an elite power lifter. I don't care about what little ribbons he got when he was a teenager. Jay is a wannabe high-level power lifter. If you took Brad, who's 200 pounds, okay, in the old Misfit videos, I saw him lift, I think, 350 on the bench. I would assume that Brad could lift about 400 pounds on the bench press right now, or somewhere close to that if he were to max out, especially if he didn't tear his pec. But let's take somebody like Brad. Let's put him on 1,000 milligrams of test a week, 500 milligrams of Deca. Let's put him on 50 milligrams of D-ball or Anadrol. And let's bulk Brad up to over 300 pounds. Brad would blow Jay out of the freaking water, strength-wise. He would demolish his lifts. Okay, and that was my point. There are so many people that I know right now, if I bulked them up to over 300 pounds and gave them a similar lifestyle to Jay Masters, they would blow him out of the freaking water. So there is nothing left. What is there left to listen to? His PED advice sucks. Yeah, he's strong, but in the context of what he is, he's not really that strong. His life advice sucks. He processes things very strangely, like thinking it's a good idea to compile photos on a handicapped girl and put them out there like he's one-upping Brad. No, you're making yourself look like a freaking retard is what you're doing. And then he snaps his quad on a 600-pound squat, snaps his quads. So what is there left to listen to? Nothing. You go to him to watch the train wreck. And Brad was 100% right. He doesn't want to fight anybody. He doesn't want to fight anybody. He makes every excuse in the world to not fight. And the only reason why I didn't talk on that, because I do think the one-way contract was stupid. If you're going to make a contract, there needs to be benefits on both sides. Like Adam should have made his contract, you need to delete your social media, and then Jay should have made his contract, you know, of the benefits that he should get, combine the contracts, and both sides sign. Like if somebody came to me and they're like, hey, let's fight, but I'm the one who's going to get the only benefit, it's like, no, I don't care. If I know 100% I'm going to knock their teeth in, my time is precious. I have a family, and why would I do that? At this point, because of Jay's actions, because of going after handicapped chicks, if he was in Houston, I would 100% show up and get in the cage with him. And in my second video, I said, let's get in the cage, big boy. You're 350 pounds. At the time, I was on keto cutting, so I was like extremely depleted at 220. But now I'm 250 pounds. I think it would be a good fight right now. I'm 250. You're 330. Let's get in the effing cage, man. Stop challenging people like McLeod, who's freaking handicapped, and as you put it, has the worst genetics on the planet. My original offer was I'll throw in $5,000 and then you can raise your $5,000 because I know you don't have the money, and I would give you 20% because you could use it. But he wants to pretend like he doesn't watch me. He freaking watches me, guys. Don't fall for that crap. He doesn't want people on his page going, hey man, this guy challenged you to a cage fight. Let's do it. He doesn't want people seeing that stuff because I'll actually freaking show up. I will show up with a camera. Where's Jay Masters? Nowhere in sight. And then he would come up with all these excuses. Brad triggered this man. Brad triggered this man, and it's funny because after he watched this video, all of a sudden he wants to sober up. All of a sudden, he wants to become a better person and not talk about Brad, not talk about McLeod. Dude, you have built your entire channel off of this. This is what your channel is, talking about Brad, talking about McLeod. And then before that, it was going after other people like PJ Braun, Hamburg. I mean, I would literally need a whole entire notepad to write down all the people that he's destroyed his relationships with. Nobody wants anything to do with you, even your mother, even your girlfriend. You know you're a piece of crap when your mother and girlfriend is texting your enemy because they are sick of your antics. You're over 50 years old and you're acting like a complete freaking baby. You need to man up, quit drinking, and quit abusing anabolics and try to recover the little of what's left of your brain. On top of all the things that I said before, he got a bachelor's degree in psychology and history. So not only did he waste all the money he's ever gotten and ruin his easy chances of becoming a millionaire, he got worthless degrees. So he wasted his freaking scholarship because he wanted an easy ride through college. If he would have done something useful, he would have been able to get a good job. But the reason why he doesn't have a good job is because he got worthless degrees. The only way that you can go somewhere with psychology is if you get a master's or PhD and you become a therapist or a psychologist. The only way you can do something with history is if you get a PhD and you become a professor. But anybody that gets a bachelor's degree in liberal arts, you're wasting your time and money. Like, if you really want to learn about that stuff, go buy the freaking textbooks that they give out in the classes and read them. Don't waste your freaking scholarship on easy rides. Jay wants an easy ride through this life. That is what Jay wants. From college to blowing all the money to suing his employers for falling down, he is the scum of the freaking earth. And there is not one thing that Brad said that was wrong, besides the fact that he's not stupid. But he was on point. And you know why Jay is saying, hey man, I'll let you get the last word in. Let's just move on. Because who would want to mess with Brad after all that? He has stockpiled ammunition against Jay. Of course he wants nothing to do with Brad. That was a freaking warning shot, and he better shut his mouth or he's going to get what's coming to him. And before I end the video, I have to make an apology to Mr. Bradford. I took the information from Jay's mouth and thought that you had been married twice and you're going on to your third marriage. I apologize, brother. I will edit that out of my first video. I made the mistake of taking Jay's word for it, and I should have fact-checked that before I spoke on it. So I apologize, man. And then also thank you for Diana Maybrook's last boob job in Chuck E. Cheese Ranch. If it wasn't for you two guys, I would not see a lot of this stuff. Now Jay Masters is going to move on to Adam McLeod, and it's going to be this whole McCuck, I want to fight you thing. The only reason why he's doing that is because Brad called him out and called him a freaking wimp. That's never going to come through with any of his fights. It's happened with 100 people. He talks all this crap on camera. If you guys think that Jay Masters is really like that in real life, some tough guy, you guys have it all wrong. He is an actor. When he sees you in person, he wants to suck your penis. That's what he wants to do. All the people that he trashes and wants to fight, the only history that he has is sucking these men's penis that he has destroyed on camera because he is an actor. He is not tough.